2024 is a monumental year for Ivanhoe Mines. The company is no longer a single asset miner, having recently reopened the Kushi Mine in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is not only a huge win for the company, but possibly for the country as well. So, Marna, 2024 is quite a celebratory year for Ivanhoe. You have reopened a mine that was first opened 100 years ago and has been on care and maintenance for 31 years. What is the appeal in opening up an old lady mine like Kushi?
Oh, Kapushi's got such a rich history, and if you operate in the DRC in a meaningful way, the way we do, you cannot help but notice Kushi as part of the dialogue when it comes to the mining industry. The local nationals are very proud of what was achieved in Kushi in the old days. They used to mine copper at 7% grade, zinc at 11% grade, just a phenomenal ore body. And a bit of a checkered past, it was part of the colonial era. Then it went on to care and maintenance for 30 years and became flooded in the early 2000s. We stepped in 2011, and we thought it was going to be sort of a quick refurbishment. It's got magnificent underground infrastructure. And if you have to go and build that infrastructure today, you would spend billions of dollars just putting in place underground infrastructure. If you look at Shaft 5, which will be our main hoisting shaft with a capacity of 1.5 million tons per annum, that shaft can hold its own to modern shafts that we are currently sinking anywhere in the world. But what really sets Kushi apart is the grade. You're looking at an ore body, it's about a 12 to 14 year mine life ore body of 35 to 36% grade on average.
Yeah.
And we take industry leaders, guys that's been in the zinc industry, to this mine. They just look at this ore body. We give them a little Niton analyzer. They go to the face, they shoot, and you get magnificent grades, even higher than that. So it was sort of a no-brainer to think, let's bring this mine back into production. But it didn't come without issues.
Yep.
The dewatering took us quite a long time. It took time to understand the water flows. We now have that completely in hand. We've got massive pump stations that we've installed. We joke, when you go underground at Kushi, it's probably the best road in Congo. So it's really a magnificent underground mine. On surface, we've completed the plant. We've now started with the commissioning. We're trying to get it to steady state. It will probably happen within the next quarter. So very exciting. But it takes work, and once you start with these projects, there's always these sort of things that come along the way.
Of course.
That makes it more difficult than you would have liked. But it's a phenomenal little mine, and it looks fantastic. Welcome to come and visit us.
I would love to.
Any time. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting couple of years ahead.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Kushi.
So, Marna, I mean, 2011 to 2024 is certainly a commitment towards this project. So it's great to see that the end result is coming back into production. Now, I know that at nameplate capacity, as you mentioned, Kushi is going to be the fourth largest zinc operation in the world. But there's much more potential at Kushi beyond zinc. Do you want to share a little bit about what the actual potential could be beyond the zinc story?
If you look at the Ivanhoe Mines press releases, we always sort of show that it's not just zinc. It's germanium, gallium, lead, and these are all strategic niche metals that the world's basically fighting over.
Right.
And part of our partnership with Relevance is to assist them in trying to see how we can economically recover these byproducts. We haven't made a breakthrough just yet, but Relevance is actively pursuing avenues to see how the DRC as a country can benefit from these byproducts that come with the mine. For the start of the mine, we will just be selling the zinc concentrate, but obviously it's something that we will assist with in pursuing the recovery of these byproducts.
Okay. So I'm interested to get your views on the relevance, the market relevance around zinc. Do you consider it a critical mineral?
I do. Yeah. So it's always one of these tricky questions, and people use buzzwords, and we all assume everybody understands the buzzword to mean the same thing.
Exactly.
And you sort of go and you think, okay, the US has got it included as a critical metal. Why? But why is it a critical metal? And I think, in my view, a critical metal is something that's going to be used in the modernization of the world. It's something
Couldn't
that's,
agree with you
and
more.
it's also something that may become scarce over time, and that there's going to be sort of a vying for different interests from different parts of the world to ensure that they've got access to these metals to grow their economies. But then secondary to that is also sort of the energy transition type metals. And I think zinc basically falls into both of these
Okay.
categories. Zinc's the fourth most used metal in the world. It's used to galvanize steel mainly and to protect it against rust. But it's also used as a coating on solar panels and
Ah,
wind farms. So, that extends the lives of solar panels, wind farms. So there's definitely a link back to that just transition. So I see a bright future for zinc. It's definitely a more complicated market to a copper market, for example, but definitely a bright future for zinc.
interesting. I like how you've positioned that. So I think one of the things from a mining Indaba perspective that we really like to talk about when we reopen a new mine is how this is impacting the communities. So because Kapushi's been closed for so long, I'm assuming the impact is quite significant. Can you talk around how that impact actually looks?
So the great thing with us, and it contributes to our social license to operate in the country, is since we've taken ownership of Kapushi, we always kept the workforce and we reskilled them and redeployed them in different areas. We currently have over 500 people working at the mine.
Sure.
And if
Okay.
you visit the town of Kapushi, the whole town is really built around that mine. The
Mhm.
mine provides potable water to the whole town.
Okay.
And it's because it was an old Jacobins mine, there's sort of that heritage of Jacobins provides clinics, hospitals, schooling. So there's a interdependency between the mine and the town.
Okay.
We're trying to get to a more modern model where you start giving communities access to livelihoods that they can sustain outside of
Fantastic.
mining.
Yeah.
So we've started with fish farming. We've got farming projects going. We've got a sewing center going. They sewed me the most beautiful dress. I should have actually worn it today. For the interview, it's just a bit cold. So we have a number of initiatives, and then also on the artisanal side, we started with reskilling of artisanals that
Oh,
worked in the
fantastic.
area
Okay.
to manufacture aggregates. We put them through safety courses. We teach them how to do their jobs in a safe way, how to form a co-op, and how then to make a living selling different products. So you have to actively get involved in the community where you operate. And then we've built a training center at Kapushi. It's not at the scale of Kamoa, of course, because it's a smaller footprint, but we are training our crews. It's a long haul stoping mine, so it's a modern mine, modern equipment. We use Congolese nationals to do the mining. So very exciting story for the town of Kapushi. And obviously, with the logistics undertaking for Kapushi to get the product to market, there's also a sort of a new lifeblood coming into
Okay.
town with your logistic service providers. There's bed and breakfast,
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
businesses picking up and people selling takeaways next to the road. So, it's sort of an economy that's starting to grow around the mining
Oh,
footprint.
fantastic. I mean, Ivanhoe is definitely a leader in these areas, Marna. It's fantastic to see the work that you do. Now, I suppose the other side of the coin is how the DRC is benefiting as a country from the mine. And I'm just wondering if there's any initiatives around potential downstream value addition that you're considering for Kipushi. I do know you have some international off-takers, but it would be good to know if there's any in-country sort of plans for downstream value addition.
Yeah, it's always a difficult question because it comes at a cost.
Of course.
And then first of all, you need to see if it makes economical sense for you as a company to build downstream beneficiation. If I use Kamoa as an example, we've now just built the biggest smelter in Africa. It will be completed in December. We will start commissioning early next year. It made sense for Kamoa. It's got a payback of less than 3 years. It cuts our transport costs significantly, and at the same time it benefits the country because you create 1,000 jobs, and you're taking the product to a more final stage. At Kapushi, it's a shorter mine life, but you do sit with very, very valuable byproducts in terms of the international global markets.
Right.
So, as I mentioned earlier, it's something that our partners, Jacobins, are actively pursuing, speaking to different state basically state departments to see if there would be appetite to build further downstream beneficiation in country to ensure that we can recover some of these byproducts. So it's an interesting space. We'll keep our eyes on it, and we will support them where we can to see if it will be a possibility for Kushi. It's the only zinc mine in that area, which also makes it a little bit more difficult for future feed if you can't grow the resource significantly after the initial 12 to 14-year
Okay.
life.
Okay. No, Marna, it's been a pleasure to chat to you. It's so exciting to see Kushi back in operation. I'm glad Ivanhoe is supported to go through this and get it to this stage, and can't wait to see what the future holds for this mine.
Yeah, very exciting. And what I forgot to mention is we've built a little AstroTurf soccer field
Oh,
outside of the
fantastic.
mine. So we've got quite a social hub outside
Oh,
of
I
the
love
mine
that.
because community can use it and we're running leagues. So it's a very exciting times for us at Kushi.
Fantastic.
Thanks for chatting to us.
Thanks so much, Marna.